What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday afternoon so far. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm bringing you a new Mets roster update about a player they just claimed off of waivers from the Philadelphia Phillies, and they just also designated another player for assignment. And the Mets have officially claimed right-handed pitcher Sam Coonrod from the Philadelphia Phillies, 6'1", 225-pound right-handed pitcher out of the bullpen. And in exchange, the New York Mets have officially designated outfielder Khalil Lee for assignment, which means he's officially off the roster now after he was dealing with some, off-the-field issues going on with Khalil Lee the past time. But the New York Mets added another player to their bullpen this past offseason. So another guy is now part of the bullpen that will potentially factor in for the New York Mets in 2023 Major League Baseball season, or at least another guy will give an opportunity to go out there and show what he could do for the New York Mets in terms of being an overall player. And maybe if he could show up very well and play well in spring training, maybe he could earn himself a roster spot for the New York Mets in the bullpen for this upcoming season. Coonrod actually played in 4 years in the Major League Baseball ever since he came up from the San Francisco Giants back in 2019 as a 26-year-old, where he had his best season of his career, pitching in 33 games overall, where he had a 5-1 record with a 3.58 ERA. He had 9 games finished. He had 27.2 innings pitched. He gave up 19 hits and 11 runs, 11 earned runs. He also gave up 3 home runs and 15 walks overall. He had 20 strikeouts, and he also gave up a whip of 1.229. And he gave up, and he had at least 1 balk over his career, and he had 2 wild pitches. Over that time, Coonrod, in 4 years, last year with the Phillies, he pitched to a 7.82 ERA out of the bullpen, no wins, no losses recorded in 12 games. He had 3 games finished. He pitched in 12.2 innings overall, 12 hits he gave up, 12 runs, 11 earned runs. He gave up a home run and 7 walks. He also had 12 strikeouts, and he had 3 hit by pitches, hit batsmen, and he also had 1 wild pitch. And he had a whip of 1.500, which is not good. This is just another guy right now that you can add into the large melting pot of New York Mets relievers right now that are going to be getting their opportunities to go out there and potentially see if they could snag a bullpen role with this New York Mets team going into the 2023 season. I mean, his best season was his first year coming into the major leagues back in 2019. And in reality, he's pitched after that for 3 seasons. In 2020, he had a 9.82 ERA. He was 0-5. He was 0-2. 2021, he had a 4.04 ERA, which is better than last year. He was 2-2 overall in his record, and and then last year, obviously, no wins or losses, and a 7.82. So he's a very unreliable pitcher. Let's just say that, Mr. Coonrod, Sam Coonrod. But at the same time, the New York Mets are trying right now to just throw in a whole bunch of guys to see what they can do, get them in there, and also see if he could potentially come together under Jeremy Hefner, the New York Mets pitching coach, and see if he can be a guy that could potentially be a player that the Mets could look at for this 2023 season as a guy that can come out of the bullpen and be very solid for them. They're going to be pretty much taking a shot on a bounce-back guy this year, too. I mean, he had some ill-fortunate play as well last year where he had at least 48.5 stranded rate, as well as a 72.6% league average in terms of keeping batters stranded on the base paths, which is actually not bad. And he has a fastball. His fastball was in the upper 90s, like around 100 miles per hour. It's around 97 now after he had an injury. I believe he had a shoulder injury, and that's the reason why his velocity is tailed off a little bit. And now he's going to be joining a bullpen with Edwin Diaz, Adam Ottavino, David Robertson, and Brooks Raley, who are the locks. And then you have guys like Drew Smith, John Curtis, Steve Nogasic, overall, that are all going to be looking to earn a spot with this New York Mets bullpen going into the 2023 season. Let's see what's going to happen with Coonrod going into this spring training for the New York Mets. And then you look at Khalil Lee. He was an optionable depth since the New York Mets got him from the Florida Marlins last year. But unfortunately, he was accused of domestic violence, unfortunately, this past off season. And it was just a matter of time until the New York Mets looked like they were just pretty much going to move on from him, because it was going to be very, very difficult to keep him around on the roster with this accusation that's been given about him recently. So now the New York Mets have Tommy Pham in there, so they can use him as that outfield depth. They obviously have the young guys over there. You can put Vientos in the outfield. You can even put one of the other guys in the outfield. You got depth now. You got obviously Nimmo, Marte, and Canna. But I'm really curious to see how Sam Coonrod is going to perform going into this spring training. I really am. I'm curious to see what he's going to be able to do. He has a lively fastball, even though it did dip a couple of miles per hour after his injury. But you know what? He's a prime bounce-back candidate. He obviously knows the Mets very well from pitching with the Phillies last year and the year before. Why not take a chance on him and see if maybe you can get something out of this kid? Maybe if he comes back from another year of that injury, he can be able to round into form for what he was possibly a couple of years ago when he made his debut for the Giants back in 2019. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But the New York Mets officially claim right-handed pitcher Sam Coonrod from the Philadelphia Phillies. And also, the New York Mets have designated outfielder Khalil Lee for assignment. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below. Sub up to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, chatter around the New York Mets. And turn on the bell for notifications. The next video is short, dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Mets. And you guys let me know in the comment section if you guys think that the acquisition of Sam Coonrod is a good one, if you've heard about him, and what he's going to bring to the table potentially this spring training and for the New York Mets in 2023, this Major League Baseball season. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Mets. As always, all you got to do is you got to believe in those boys from Queens.